Quick question for you. How would you drive your car if your fuel gauge or your speedometer wasn't working? Would you be a reckless driver or a cautious driver? Stick around. You're going to see how this applies to crypto. We're also going to talk about a major bank CEO. This is Yo. The best to crypto is yet to come, and he has the data to prove it. XRP burn rate is down, but does burn rate mean anything with price? We'll talk price action along with the latest in crypto news. Name the Jersey boys and girls.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Along with your comments, because you, the viewer, matter most. Now, we're going to talk a lot about inflows, outflows, the outlook, and the big gap that we're all going to notice next week. Now, the warning I'm going to give you, it's not a typical warning. It's not oh, you got to hide, things are going to be bad. No, we'll get to it. Don't worry about it. Heat map, you know the deal. First, boys and girls, don't you? Your comments. Here we go. Melanie Ferguson says, I'm voting with you. Vote them all out. For real. When I discuss with you the warning later, you're going to understand why I want to vote them all out. Melanie, I think we're all thinking the same thing, girlfriend. Taco Shuriken dropping support on the channel member. Thank you very much. Says, thanks for not taking those offers. Earn my membership. For real. I will not take any crypto sponsorship so that I can bring you the unbiased news. Now, for real, if seriously, like a nitrous or like a turbo company wants to sponsor the channel, I'm probably not going to pass up on that one. But I'm not covering nitrous and turbo news, am I? I'm covering crypto news. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Love it. Channel member dropping support as well. Thank you. Says October has been like a huang, which is Italian for tong, which is Austrian for bratwurst, which is Finnish for sausage in my beehole. Choo choo dry powder once a week. I'm spitting out my coffee, listening to you. Keep up the good work. For real. Just make sure when y'all are using foreign languages, you enunciate it correctly, and it's huang. You have to make sure you put the in there. Otherwise, you're just saying wang. And maybe that's someone's last name, but Huang isn't someone's last name. Bitcoin, 106,985. ETH is 3878. BNB's at 1,090. While XP's at 234. We're seeing a little bit of a rebound here in the market, but remember, the next vote is going to be on Monday. So between now and Monday, what are we going to do? We're going to look to see what people in the Senate are saying. Is there anyone that we might be garnering their votes from? Is there anyone there saying, no, we're not making progress? We're going to keep you updated on that. Altcoin season index, 23 out of 100. Michael Jordan's number. Cool number, but not cool when you want to talk about altcoin season. Volume went back down to normal for a Saturday. Again, happy Saturday to y'all. Volume right now, $136 billion. All right. Talk about a big bank CEO saying they're not worried. And they have a stat to share with you, which honestly I think should prove to most of you out there that, yeah, we got to chew through some poop sandwiches. I get it. Yeah, sometimes we got to take our wang and slap it with the nearest object so we don't get too excited. But this guy is like, yo, I'm excited. BTC ETFs lost 1.2 billion this week as BTC fell. But Schwab reported to its clients that they now own 20% of all crypto ETPs. That's not the big stat. You ready for it? Here you go. Charles Schwab CEO Rick Horster, there you go, remains bullish on the exchange traded products, ETPs, ETFs, stating that the assets manager clients own 20% of all crypto ETPs in the country. They have been very active. And he says, guess what? Visits to the company's crypto site have gone up 90% in the last year. It's a topic of high engagement. I want you to think about that. Let's pretend you and I build a product, right? And we built a website for it. And we're like, oh, okay, does anyone really care about our product? Then all of a sudden we see the latest report. Boom, 90% increase in visits to that. Yeah. So you've got more eyes on it. And think about it during this year. Okay, remember, he said this during the last year. During this last year of crypto, I'll put a little bit of market cap action up on here so you can see. We've had some major dips. You remember after the whole December, January thing when we slumped all the way down into March and things got really, really bad, March, April? Yeah. So even during those downturns, it's still a huge uptick in people being interested in crypto. And remember, there's still a ton of people out there. We're the minority. Like, for real, we're the minority. In Guatemala, I'm the minority. I'm super the minority. No mas gringos aquí, let me tell you. But think about that. More and more people are getting exposed to crypto. You and I were the early ones. But some people, maybe they need their hand held. Maybe they need to go through their bank and try an ETF first before they go directly into native token. And we all know when we look at the big crypto ownership charts that what, only a couple percent of people in the world own crypto? So it's like we've got a lot of room to grow. So Charles Schwab CEO is like, yo, we're seeing tons of people show interest in this, and this is all without the big regaronis. And I know the regs are going to be delayed. The ETFs are going to be delayed. In fact, today is the 18th, everyone. We were supposed to get some ETF approvals today, and guess what? We're obviously not getting it because the government shut down. So imagine what the engagement rate is. Imagine what the interest is going to be once we finally get regs, once we get through all the stuff and crypto actually has solid footing like the rest of the markets. Bitcoin rebounds after Friday's slump as markets brace for government shutdown inflation concerns. Okay. Here's the warning. This is very, very interesting. Like I said, this isn't a bad warning. This is something, though, that you have to think about, and you have to use this information as you assess these next couple days and weeks. How does the market respond to government data pauses? Oh, see, that's right. Remember, we've got CPI data coming out. We've got jobs reports coming out. We got housing reports coming out. And these all come from government agencies. Well, those government agencies don't have the same number of people working for them. In fact, we learned recently that the SEC is only operating with 10% of its workforce. So what do? They only tackle like the biggest and most pressing things. So a lot of these reports, they're not going to be as accurate. And some of these reports won't be released. And in fact, some of these reports, what you're going to see is private firms releasing their own data based on other data, which isn't the same. So the warning is this: the market is going to be a little bit safer when it comes to data. Think about this. You get hurt, right? You get hurt, your leg's all jacked up, and you're like, you know what? Am I going to be okay to run tomorrow? And your wife's like, well, go to the doctor. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go to the doctor and see what the doctor tells you. Maybe the doctor will say, yeah, you're good to go to run. Maybe you just twisted your ankle. You didn't tear a tendon or something like that, right? So you go to the doctor and the doctor's office is closed. So you can't get the x-rays, you can't get the MRIs, you can't get the exam, but your ankle is still, kind of hurting a little bit. What do? Well, you are cautious, right? You're like, well, since I don't have the data, I don't want to destroy my ankle even worse. Even though it might only just be a light sprain, you don't know if it's torn or not. So you act cautiously. During the ongoing government shutdown, several agencies paused the release of key economic indicators, complicating the assessment of U.S. macro momentum. Traders often react to data gaps by reducing exposure and moving into safe havens, while others recalibrate expectations for inflation and monetary policy. In this environment, Bitcoin and other crypto markets can exhibit resilience or heightened volatility depending on the involving risk segment and the liquidity outcome. That's what you have to start thinking about. So the data that not just us, but the entire world is going to be using, A, might not be accurate. B, might not happen at all. And C, might come from a whole new source. In data, the most important thing about it is its continuity and its accuracy. And right now, we're not going to get that. So imagine driving your car without a dashboard, not knowing what speed you're going. What are you going to do? You're going to match traffic, right? You're not going to try to do your own thing. You're going to be like, whoa. I bet you that guy's data is good, so I'm going to follow him. That's exactly what the market is going to do here. We're going to be a little bit more cautious. Now, cautious doesn't mean bad because you can have good data and still be cautious about it. And then when you start getting the real juicy data, you'd be like, oh, so we were good during those 4 weeks that we were shut down. Oh, so inflation wasn't as bad during the shutdown, and then the market can what? React accordingly. So the warning is fairly simple. Be cautious right now because the data we have isn't the same and sure as shit isn't accurate. And how would you drive if your speedometer wasn't accurate? You would drive more cautiously. Well, no, some of y'all would be wheelmen. Some of y'all would flip the switch, hit the nitrous button. Remember, it only activates on full throttle. Some of y'all would turn the PSI up on the turbos to 24 and just say, hey, screw it. I don't care if my head bolts don't hold it and my gasket blows. Screw it. Launch it. But I know most of the market, though, is going to be fairly conservative. XRP price surges while on-chain burn plummets. Okay, I wanted to share this with you. This is a very interesting topic. Right here up on the screen, okay, is payments for XRP. Okay, check it out. That is payments for the entire lifetime of XRPL. And essentially what this article is saying is that, you know what, you got some burn rates that are slowing down, payment rates are slowing down, all this stuff is slowing down, but Think about that. Look at this. This is your chart, okay, for payments from one account to another, right? Okay. Does that look like the lifetime XRP chart? Hell no, it doesn't. It doesn't look like that at all, does it? So a lot of these organic metrics are important, but they don't lead to price action. In fact, what they're talking about is the burn rate. And recently, the burn rate for XRP has sucked balls. In fact, if you look at it, and again, everything you're seeing in this video, all my other videos are linked in the description below. Example, August 25th, there was only 536 XRP burned on XRPL. So again, if anyone out there is like, bro, you're going to get rich on the burn rate, no, they're lying to you. And they're probably not the smartest person out there to be listening to because the burn rate sucks balls. But burn rate also has nothing to do with price. It's just the usage of XRPL. In fact, look at this. Over the last about month and a half or so, the burn rate for XRP has been anywhere from 300 to 500 XRP a day. Go to XRP's price. Wait a minute. So you're telling me they're only burning like $600 to $1,000 worth of XRP a day? Yeah, because a lot of people aren't using XRPL, but they are trading XRP and they see more benefit in the XRP segment of it than XRPL. So essentially what this article is saying is, look, you've had a whole bunch of burn rate plummet, right? Burn rate going way, way down. Payment suck balls on XRPL. But XRPL is an XRP. Now, swinging it on over to the crypto market, yeah, 25 out of 100. So we got a lot of fear in the market. This is your overall market cap right here. This is very interesting to look at. Last year, we've had an uptick. Yes, like I said, we've had some downturns from March and April because I think that was the same thing, right? When we were dealing with this stuff earlier this year, it was nuts. So January, December, we were like, yo, we're going to get all these regs right away. And then we didn't get it. And we had a downswing in the market. From that point, we then rebounded and broke new all-time highs like across the board. So now we're having a little bit of a downswing. This is all part of the movement of crypto. Now, ETFs did see a little bit of bleeding. Bitcoin bled 366 million, while ETH bled 232 million. XRP, though, is doing what over the last day? On its way up. So yeah, burn rate is down, usage of XRPL is down. But remember, XRPL isn't XRP. And the speculation that you have with XRP is increasing because when you zoom out here, yeah, that's an up chart. That's the 1 year chart for XRP. That still looks very healthy. A year ago, we were still fighting around the 50, 60, 40 cent mark. Look at those candlesticks. A low of 49 cents right there. Yeah, this was a year ago, and here we are at 234. So you're going to have some ups and downs, but the overall trend in crypto is up. And the big bank CEOs, specifically Charles Schwab CEO, says, yo, in the last year, we have had a 90% increase in people visiting our crypto site. How big do you think the increase in visits is going to be once we actually get the regs, once these knob gobblers over here get back to the hill and start voting and unlock the shutdown? And I know you're like, bro, where did you get the rockin' jersey? Well, this is an Antigua jersey. In fact, I'm going to have my second channel linked at the end and the description below, showing you everything from Antigua, from Guatemala City. That's where I'm at right now. I'm doing a whole bunch of shorts right now. Don't worry, I'll do long form content when I get back home. But that second channel is listed in the description below. Check it out. Give me a little sub action so you can see what I'm doing while I'm bringing you the news. Now, the idea of the market going down and people freaking out, look, there's always something to freak out with markets. What about the silver market? For how many years? And I know a lot of y'all are silver stackers. I'm a silver stacker. Trick's a silver stacker. A bunch of y'all are silver stackers. How many years did we deal with bad shit with silver? How many times did you and I go to stores and we had to pay so much above spot? And then how many times could we go there and they didn't have retail quantities of silver? I remember for the longest time, I couldn't go anywhere and buy 1 ounce coins of silver because no one had it. And then all of a sudden, the silver market starts rolling, starts turning around, starts printing some massive juicy candlesticks. It's the same for crypto. We look at this and sometimes we got really great news that lets us roar, but then we have letdown news like, oh, you're going to have a crypto asset stockpile by the end of the year. No, no, no. Yeah, I know. We're promising another. And then the market gets let down. You get this. Oh, you're going to have regs by July. See my point? You're going to have some goods. You're going to have some bads. So what do? You zoom out overall and you're like, okay, the trend is still up. Yeah, we've hit some road bumps. Some of the things holding us back right now will definitely help us out when they kick in. Regs, ETFs for our altcoins. So what do? You deal with it. You deal with it the way that you believe is best for you. That's why I bring the news good, bad, happy, or sad, because not everything in crypto is, oh, this is awesome. We're all going to go to the big. Oh, some cryptos suck. Have you looked at Arbitrum lately? Suck fest. Have you looked at Picoin? Sucks balls. And remember all those players out there going, oh, but Picoin is going to go to the moon, girlfriend. And you're like, God, you're fucking dumb. What are you guys talking about? You're at like 20 cents. My point is this: certain things are going to move, certain things aren't. And even the things that move, not every candlestick's a green one. Silver's gone through hell. We've seen a lot of stocks go through hell. Shit, I remember after the Roni Rona, and we're sitting here talking about, ooh, what's going to happen with the big ones out there, the FANG companies. Now no one even talks about the FANG companies anymore. So just zoom out, pay attention to the news, whether it's good, bad, happy, or sad. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out. And remember, having a lack of reporting, having a lack of data means what? It means that the majority of the world is going to be cautious because we don't have that data. Always remind yourself of driving your car. If you don't have a dashboard, your speedometer is not working, your fuel gauge isn't working, what are you going to do? You ain't going to drive across fucking country. No, you're going to be cautious. And I expect the market to be cautious. Cautious can mean several things. Cautious can also mean hodl mode, not sell mode. But remember, once we get that data, and if the data is on our side, what's going to happen? That cautiousness is going to turn into what? Optimistic action. Choo choo what? Well, you know the deal. Choo choo Guate? Choo Choo Antigua? Choo Choo. Oh, it's Choo Choo Bitches. Sorry, I didn't know what the line was.